Welcome to Lucas Live. Thank you guys for being here. Everybody who's joining us right now, we want you guys to stay tuned. We have an amazing show today with an amazing guest. You guys are going to love it. We get to talk to a two-time Super Bowl champion today, ladies and gentlemen. We get to hear his stories. We get to hear about life after football. We get to hear about what it's like playing with a future Hall of Famer on the field month after month, week after week, day after day. We're going to hear about it, what it was like, what's it like in the locker room, what's it like in your personal life when you're trying to play in the NFL and travel and do all those things that we see as so glamorous and glorious. We're going to hear the truth about it. We're going to hear the fun parts. We'll hear the ups and the downs. We'll talk to him about his life. What is it like as a man, as a person, as a son, as a husband, as a father? We're going to learn more about him today, so we're really excited. We want to invite everybody. Thank you so much, those who are joining in. Keisha Warren, thank you so much for being here. Love the background. I'm here at the stadium. You see, this is Broncos Stadium here behind me. Thank you, guys. I'm glad you guys can see that. I'm sitting here kind of in the stands, in the press box. Let's just assume I'm here in the press box here today. So we're going to have a great time. Tyler Thatcher, thank you for joining the show. Lori Ann, hello. Welcome to the show. We're so excited. Everybody who's jumping in, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys' input. My beautiful wife, Corinne Marie, you guys let me know if you guys can hear me good. I got a new mic, which I almost knocked over. I'm going to get this thing situated one day. We're going to get it like hanging up here. I'm working on it. You know, I still got the old mic going on. We got a lot going on, but we're going to figure it out. It's all good. We're always trying to update things. JJ Lilly, thank you for being here. You guys let me know if the sound is good, if you guys can hear me well. I want to make sure that everything sounds good. This is a new and improved mic, but I got to make sure the settings are good. Got to make sure everything is right. You guys know here on Lucas Live, you guys, it's like Saturday Night Live, except even more live because it's just me. It's you. We're live. I'm working new things in. You guys see that breaking news? Can anybody see that breaking news running across the top of the screen? That's a new feature. Lucas Live is celebrating this 1 month anniversary. We're excited about that. You guys, thank you guys so much who have been here with us. If you're new to the show, my name is Lucas Tendell. This is Lucas Live. This show has been going for just over a month, and it has been incredible. It is a live video podcast. You may have a favorite podcast. You may enjoy a podcast, but this is a live video podcast where everything happens right in front of you. So we're having a great time. Thank you guys so much. Want to make sure everything is working. You guys can see it. Thank you, Chris Bennett. Thank you for being here, my friend. Brian David Porter, hello. Thank you for being here with us on LinkedIn. Okay, you guys see the banner. Thank you. All right, Keisha. All right, Corinne, everybody, you guys see that banner going. All right, we're practicing. We're trying new things. This is why I went to the new software. This software has a little more flexibility than the previous software. The previous software I was using was called StreamYard. I would recommend StreamYard to anybody who's going to go live and wants to do something a little nicer. Now, for me, I go live 5-6 days a week, so I wanted the most advanced. So I stay up all night and I study how to make it better. So I'm learning every day and I'm having a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much. We're so excited to hear the story of our special guest today. Make sure you guys share this broadcast, okay? Don't be shy. Hit that share. Let your friends and family share it. Make it public so everybody can see it, so people can join in on the conversation and can hear this great person who's going to share with us today. I've had the pleasure of talking to him and getting to know him a little bit. And I mean, just such a down-to-earth guy. I can't wait to introduce you guys to him. He's just down-to-earth, family man, caring guy, just doing his thing. And it's just going to be really, really cool for us to get to interact with him. I'm going to give you guys a chance to ask some questions yourselves in the comments. So get those questions ready so you guys can ask our guest today about that. Ebony said, I'm in the horseshoe. This is actually the Broncos Stadium. It's the Denver Broncos Stadium. He actually was drafted by the Denver Broncos, so I'm sitting in the Denver Broncos Stadium. So you guys can see me here sitting above the stands here somewhere, right? It's pretty, pretty fancy here, what's going on here. People keep asking me where I'm at. My one aunt was like, where are you at when you're doing that show? Definitely not in Denver, but it's all good. It's all good. So thank you guys for being here. Little Kev, what's up, man? Scooter, what's up, man? Glad to have you here, man. Thanks for joining the show. Again, everybody, keep those comments coming. Keep interacting. And when I don't interact with you in the comments, interact with each other. Say hello to each other. Shout out each other. Tag some of your family and friends and say, you need to be here. What are you doing? Are you watching this? Lucas Live has a Super Bowl champion. Don't miss it, okay? So you guys, I don't want to delay this any longer. As we continue to celebrate our 1 month anniversary, I want to thank everybody who's already subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys very much. I should play some applause. Do I have some applause somewhere? Thank you guys so much. Applause to you who have joined who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. And to everyone who has joined the Inner Circle, I really appreciate it. For everybody who's joined the Inner Circle, everybody who texts Lucas Live to 31996. Let's see if we can get that up there. Text Lucas, let's throw that up there. Throw it all, just throw it in front of me. There we go. To join the Inner Circle, all you have to do is text Lucas Live to 31996. Why haven't you joined? What are you doing? Don't you want to be a part of this thing? Don't you want to be a part of the Inner Circle? We got some cool stuff coming up, including tomorrow. Don't miss tomorrow. I know this is Sunday through Thursday, but tomorrow we have a special guest, Mr. Sexy Rob Thompson. We're going to go live again. Last week we tried. We had a few hiccups. Tomorrow we're going to go live. He's going to put on a great show. There's going to be drawings. You're going to have a chance to win a mattress box spring set, $1,000 set. There's going to be a chance to win a $150 gift card. We got some other stuff going to be going on. So you want to be there tomorrow at 7 p.m. live. You guys can come to my page or Sexy Rob's page, and you guys are going to have a chance to participate and engage in that. So don't miss tomorrow. Turn it on. Listen to it. Engage. Have some fun, have an at-home date night, chill out, listen to some good music by Mr. Sexy Rob. So shout out to Rob Thompson. We'll be live tomorrow at 7 p.m. So without further ado, and without taking a breath, I'm not even going to breathe. I'm just going to keep talking. I want to introduce our special guest today. He was so kind to join us. He was so willing. He didn't think twice. And he's here with us today. I want to introduce you to my friend, Mr. Domenik Hixon. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Appreciate you having me. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I'm so excited to have you. This is super cool. I get to say I had a Super Bowl champ on my show, man. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Man, yeah, no problem, man.
And I appreciate it, man. I see you check out the show, and you show the show a lot of love, man. You know entertainment at the highest level. So the fact that you check out my show and you've shown my show so much love, I can't thank you enough for that. And I know the Lucas Live audience is grateful for that as well. So thank you for that, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. Like I said, I enjoy it. Definitely enjoy it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. People are jumping in here. I can't even keep up. There's so many comments going on. They're clapping in the comments. They're excited. They're tagging people. It's really, really cool. So it's going really well already. Thank you all who are participating here. So, Domenik, let's get into the interview portion. Let's talk about some things today. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Now, you and I talked about this. Now, you won 2 Super Bowls with the New York Giants, but your life wasn't always set to you didn't necessarily know you were going to end up playing in the NFL. Tell us where you started, where were you born, and give us a little background on what life was like.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Germany. My dad was in the Army. Mom, she was German, and they met over there. So got married, and I grew up there pretty much till I was in 8th grade. And the only reason we had to end up moving to the States, because I told my dad one day, I said, hey, Dad, at the time I wanted to play basketball, and I said, I like to play for the Tar Heels.
Okay.
At 11 years old,
wow.
I told my dad this. And so he said, you know what, I'm going to go in and, see if they can move us to the States. And, everywhere in the United States, we got moved to, the east side of Columbus and Whitehall.
Wow.
And that's where we ended up, for my 8th grade year.
That's amazing. Born in Germany. A lot of people don't know that. You were born in Germany, and you came over here to Ohio. Shout out to Ohio, to everybody in Ohio. I'm in Ohio still. So shout out to everybody in Ohio. And you started playing sports. So as a kid, you were an athlete, right? You played a lot of sports. Tell us what that was like.
Yeah, it was fun, man. My parents, if I liked to do it, they tried to have me in it. And so in Germany, grew up playing soccer, a lot of soccer.
Football. They called it football. They call it soccer football, right?
Yeah. And they played year-round, too.
Wow.
Indoor, outdoor. They were serious about it. So I got to do that. Got to do baseball, basketball, American football. Got to do a little bit of everything. And it was fun. It was a good time. It was definitely a great experience that, kind of molded me definitely to who I am today.
That's super cool. So then you thought, I want to go play for the North Carolina Tar Heels all the way from Germany.
Right. That's right.
And your dad was stationed in Germany. Again, tell us the story. What did he have to do? It's like, how do you get a transfer to a whole other country? What was that like?
So from my understanding is that, every so many years, you can like re-enlist to be where you're at.
Okay.
And want to, be there. So he kept kind of almost renewing the lease.
Gotcha.
And then, like I said, he ended up just saying that, hey, he wanted to be transferred out, to go back to the States. And so, like I said, he came home, and when he told me Columbus, Ohio, I'd never been to the United States.
Right.
So when I heard of Ohio, I just, I thought it was, country, farmland everywhere.
People still think that, though. People still think that.
Yeah, and I didn't know what to expect. And but like I said, it was just an experience because we actually came to Pensacola, Florida, to visit family first.
Okay.
Kind of during the summer, and then ended up going, up to Ohio in August, right before school. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely an experience to come, at 11 years old and never been to the States before.
Interesting. Okay, so let's jump around a little bit. Now, you play in high school, and you got like 1,000 offers to play basketball, baseball, football, soccer at every college in the country, right? Tell us, what was the recruiting deal like for Domenik Hixon?
Man, listen, not what you just described.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
I mean, because in high school, I was probably 6'2", 150 pounds.
Wow.
And I got recruited by Akron. That was my only football offer. And they were actually looking at one of my friends, Anthony Jordan.
Okay.
They were looking at him, and Luke Fickle was the coach at the time recruiting us, but they kept getting me and him confused. And so they ended up, saying, hey, maybe we want to offer this guy as well. And I remember talking to one of my great friends now, Milan Smith. He was a high school coach at the time. And he was like, hey, when you go up to Akron, don't commit. You'll probably have some more offers in. Mm-hmm. But I told my parents, I said, man, this is my only offer. You talking about paying for school, free school? I said, man. So we went up there, met with Coach Owens, and I remember sitting in a little meeting room with him with my parents. And I said, yeah, I want to go ahead and commit.
All right.
He kind of looks at me. I said, yeah, where do I sign that? I need to go ahead and put my name on this. And, I just had such a great time, man. Marcus Hayes, Matt Cherry, Nick Sparks, Charlie Fry. I mean, all those guys hanging out, and it really felt like family. And so that's where I knew I wanted to be at. And, and God gave me that opportunity. And like I said, I was ready to sign that day. I'll go ahead and put on the dotted line. And that was my only official offer.
That's powerful, man. I mean, it's so crazy because people assume that in order to get to the highest level of whatever profession, right? So some people think you got to go to the top school to get to the top seat in a big business, or to get to the NFL, you had to come up and you were a top, at least 100 athlete, and you were getting recruited by all these schools, probably for multiple sports. You're coming from Germany to Columbus, Ohio. You hear about something called the University of Akron, and shout out to my wife. You and my wife went to the University of Akron at the same time, right? And she was running track, and shout out to Chris Bennett, also going to the University of Akron at the time. She said when they went places, people were like, what is Akron? Like, what? They couldn't even say Akron.
Yeah, so I coach high school football now here in Pensacola at Pensacola Catholic. And we got some amazing athletes and just young men. And, they asked me, they say, oh, coach, what star were you, coming out of high school? I said, man, they ain't even give me a star, man. I was a 0 star coming out. I mean, just
I was a 0 star recruit.
Just 0 star. I ain't getting no star.
Right, right. Like, don't even ask, kids. Leave me alone.
No, 0 star.
0 star. But you went from a 0 star. So think about that, ladies and gentlemen, when you think about that, right? We're talking about 4-star, 5-star recruits. We hear about it. People are coaching their kids up to be great athletes. I know, my kids are playing sports, and I want them to be their best, mainly because I'd love for them to have a free education. What a wonderful blessing to have if nothing else happens beyond that, to have a free education is a huge benefit, a huge opportunity. So you saw that opportunity. You were like, Akron, call it what you want. I'm coming. I don't know who the quarterback is. So did you always play receiver? So you were a Super Bowl receiver, kick returner. When you were in high school and in college, was playing receiver always what you did and always what you wanted to do?
No. So in high school, I mean, I played a little bit of quarterback, a couple of plays at running back. I mean, I was all over the field on defense, and but the return game is what I really enjoyed.
Okay.
So with Akron, when I first went there, we had a host of receivers. I mean, it was I think it was 5 or 6 junior receivers when I first got there.
Wow.
And so they were really honest with me. They were like, listen, you're probably not going to play the first couple of years if you end up playing receiver.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, well, we saw you play DB, do you want to play defensive back? And so I said, yeah, I just want to play. And so, got the opportunity there and, had some stiff competition there too. And, things ended up just working out. But yeah, I played DB my first 2 years of college. And I still tell Chase Blackburn that I beat him in tackles my sophomore, his junior year.
Wow.
Yeah. And he wants to keep recounting it and doing it, but it's fact, man. So he
wants a recount. He's like, that can't be right.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So again, and you guys know, Lucas Live audience, if you guys are new to this show, first of all, thank you for being here. We welcome you. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please connect with me on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Periscope, Twitter. Please. We are excited to have you guys join us and join that inner circle and become a part of our community. Please do that. But we're thinking about that, right? Most of us, we're thinking about education, motivation, liberation. That's what this show is about. Education, motivation, liberation. If it's not motivating to think about someone who went for one position, somebody's going to their job right now, and you went thinking you had one position. You did this at your last job. When they interviewed you, they were talking about you being X, and you were like, I'm going to kill it as X. And then all of a sudden, they did some restructuring, and they were like, well, actually, if you want to keep your job, we're going to need you to do Y and Z and A and B. And you're like, this isn't my thing. But what Domenik said was, well, in order to be in the game, and some of us got to get into the game of life. Some of us got to get into the game at work. Some of us got to get into the game in our marriage. Some of us got to get into the game when it comes to parenting. We got to get into the game and play the position that's needed. Do what's needed to help the team win, right? So he jumped in there, playing defensive back, making more tackles than his teammates, and but still ends up in the positions that he really loved and really wanted to do. So now let's fast forward a little bit and to going to the NFL. First round, first pick, right? Tell us about life being perfect. Tell us about that. What was that like?
So so coming out of Akron, everyone questioned the level of competition that you played, and which was expected. And I ended up doing a pro day. I ran a 4.29, 4.31, 4.37, and 4.34 40, but I ended up breaking my foot
on pro day.
Yeah, it was my last pro day. The guy from Tampa, the Bucks, he asked me to come in motion and run a corner route, and I ended up breaking my foot literally on one of the last routes.
Wow.
And so then I had to get surgery, and it was a mess after that. But by God's grace, I ended up getting picked up by Denver in the 4th round. I just wanted the opportunity. It didn't matter where or when. I enjoyed the game. And so that was definitely a dream come true being drafted.
That's big. On draft night, multiple nights of drafts. Did you know you were going to get drafted? What was going through your mind? Were you like, I know I'm at least 3rd, 4th round, or I may not get drafted at all? What were you thinking? What's it like being an NFL prospect?
Man, so the night before, I actually got permission from the doctor to walk without a boot.
Okay.
And so I was going on these interviews with the NFL teams in a suit with a boot on.
In a suit with a boot?
Shoe and, man, it was...
Suited and booted, literally.
Man, literally. And so it was one of those... I didn't know. My agent was like, hey, just get healthy. That's the biggest thing, and just be concerned about that. But... again, it didn't matter if I went free agent or 4th round. Like I said, I just want an opportunity. Yeah. And, the business part of the NFL, you never know when your last opportunity is going to happen. So, again, to take that and to go out to Denver and, met a lot of good guys out there and made some good friends.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let me take a second to shout out some of the people here watching live with us. Aaron Lampkins, I believe. He said, Dom has a great attitude and great upbringing. All right.
My guy, yeah.
That's your guy. I was hoping you knew him. I was going to be like, this is weird. He's just some random dude is saying that. Nisa Worthy says, I agree with you too. All around great guy. So many people are shouting you out. My wife, Corinne Marie, definitely a class act. Great dude. I think his name, Sean Goddard, says, great dude and his spades partner. Is that we play a little spades, huh?
Man, I'm telling you, Nashawn one of the best in the business.
Is that right?
Nashawn.com. Dayton, Ohio.
They don't play around when it comes to the Space game. Shut up.
No,
Right, right. All right, Nashawn. Now, Nashawn, he done threw you out here now. Nashawn said, ask him about Applebee's in New York City. Great stories.
Yeah, it was a good time. So we used to go. We had a group of guys together, and we used to go to Applebee's every Friday.
Uh-huh.
We used to have 5, 6, 10, 15 people there at Applebee's just hanging out on a Friday.
Right.
And just fellowship and hanging out, good time.
Living the life. Yep. Shout out to Applebee's.
Yeah, at Applebee's. Good food.
Y'all just like everybody else. Just like everybody else at Applebee's. Your neighborhood bar and grill. Everybody's there. That's awesome. Awesome. So many people. Thank you guys for your comments. We appreciate it. We see you. We thank you guys so much for your participation. Thank you for being a part of the livest audience. Zips for life. Marcus Hayes says, Zips for life. Phenomenal player. Shout out to him. He's on and celebrating the Zips. Accurate Zips for people who don't know.
Hey, that was my host there, Marcus Hayes. Hey, he, like I said, that family atmosphere. He's out there doing his thing, coaching, and it'd be nice to have him back at Akron coaching. Yeah. I'm going to put that out there, Marcus.
Wait. Don't be trying to recruit him back. Wait, now Marcus is okay. Yeah, you can't be taking him back. No, he got to stay. He got to stay where he's at.
No, man. We need him at the college level.
Oh man.
Or the NFL. He can do it too. Like I said, man. He knows what he's doing.
Shout out to Coach Hayes. Shout out for the work he's doing with young men. It matters. It matters, Coach Hayes. We see you out here. Thank you so much for your service and what you're doing. Everybody, again, thank you guys for being a part of this this live audience. We're having so much fun. So, Domenik, to talk a little bit more about your life, you and I share a special common bond. When we spoke, a few weeks ago, you and I were talking, and I was sharing with you guys about my mom, and I've shared with our audience so many times that this show is dedicated to my mom, Vivian, who passed away on March 26th. Life has not been the same, but I've poured my energy into doing this show, bringing education, motivation, and liberation to everyone watching in her name, in her honor. My mom had breast cancer that went into the bone, and it moved really fast, and that's how she passed away. You and I share a common experience. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience and what went on with you and with your mom?
Yeah, so my goal was when I got in the NFL, I said, man, I want to play 10 years. Mm-hmm. And so I'm up in Chicago, and I end up tearing my ACL for the third time. And so now, again, just not knowing what was next, I said, I'm shutting it down. I'm done. Mm-hmm. I want to spend time with my son, hang out with him, be able to run around. And so end up come back to Florida. And then, maybe a month or so later, my mom falls down the steps. Mm. And when she fell down the steps, because she had been complaining about her back a lot, and she had beat breast cancer a few times before that. And so we ended up finding out it was bone cancer. And so the only way we found that out was, because she had fell down and needed an x-ray.
Yep.
And so that was a blessing in disguise by itself.
Yeah.
And then, and with me not playing football anymore, I spoke to a doctor, and, I was there like a month on, a month off in Ohio, just spend as much time as I could with her. Yeah. But speaking to the doctor, he said, you just want to spend as much time as you can with her. We're going to try everything we can on our end, and, prayerfully, everything, works out.
Yeah.
And so I say all that to say that something that was negative for me in ending my career, I ended up being able to spend the next, 16 months with my mom.
Wow.
And, what I'm saying, and really getting to hang out with her and doing all that. And if I played football, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And also during this time, I'm traveling back and forth from Florida to Ohio, trying to, do different business stuff. And I end up meeting my wife in Columbus, and so she got to meet my mom, before she passed. And even with my son, I had some personal stuff going on there.
Sure.
Ended up having, opportunity to, my mom, the only thing she wanted was to see my son, see her grandson. Mm-hmm. And like I said, had some things going on there. And as God would have it, December 1st, I had the opportunity to go get him. I got him, took him to Ohio, and she got to spend 21 days with him in December.
Wow.
And so we just,
Beautiful.
and when I say that, she was sleeping a lot, she was doing all that, but Lorenzo is his name. He'd run into her room and like give her a hug and do different things like that. And I remember having to drop my son off at the airport and just being in tears at the airport in the car, just because I said I felt like she was hanging on. God was allowing her to have that last little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I said, it's not going to be too soon after, and she's going to pass. And lo and behold, she ended up passing, a few days later. And so, I say all that to say it just, things happen, and, it doesn't get easier, but anything, the things that my mom have taught me, and just to be resilient, to be thankful,
yes,
and just to take advantage of every day. One of the kids, our coach, he asked me, he says, "You're always smiling and laughing."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Man, there's no other way."
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you might as well go ahead and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And enjoy the good times, and, remember the people, who unfortunately can't enjoy them with you.
I love it. First of all, thank you so much for sharing that with me a few weeks ago, and sharing that with our audience here today. People do a lot of interviews, and interviews for an NFL player, former NFL player, now a businessman, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, and a family man, can really be about just football, the sport that you're known for, because that's what gets the headlines. That's what gets the attention of an audience. Here on this show, again, education, motivation, liberation, we want somebody to be set free. Somebody is dealing with a loss in their life, and they don't feel like it's even right to move on or to smile, or they feel bad that they feel good, and all these different emotions. And I love your story is so close to mine. My mom fell, broke her hip, and that's when they found out the cancer was in the bone. And hers, unfortunately, went really fast. But to have that similar story just connects us. And then people always tell me, they reach out to me and they say, "I see you on there smiling. I see you on that live. I see you smiling. Right. Every time you're on there, you're smiling." And it's like, I cry, I grieve. I have moments, sometimes the camera goes off and I'm like, man, I miss my mom so much. But I have to keep smiling. I got to stay positive, because there's no way in the world that she did all she did to raise me to be who I am, that she'd want me to be dragging around crying and sad all day instead of living the life that she taught me how to live. So.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
So powerful. So thank you so much for sharing that. Everybody with us in the comments, thank you guys so much for letting that moment set in for you and resonate with you, and think about that. This is somebody who's playing in the NFL. Everybody thinks he must have reached the pinnacle of everything he wanted, and a short time later, he's so close to losing his mom at the end of his career. His career ends, and that gives him the time he needs to spend with his mom. So such a powerful moment. So I want to take a second here and take a break away from this, and I want to show them a little clip of you in the NFL. So now, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear and see this clip, but they'll be able to see a little clip of you. You know what you did. So even though they're going to be seeing the clip, you know what you did. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to try some new technology here. I got a new piece of technology I'm going to show you guys here. This is called a Stream Deck here. Y'all may be able to see that. That's a Stream Deck, and I have some buttons here I can push to help the show flow. So we're updating and improving every day, and I just want to shout out the people who have donated to this show. People have literally blessed me. Someone blessed me. They cash apped me some money to get that. Someone cash apped some money to get this new mic. People are just... I didn't even ask. These are just good people who see we're doing something good on this show, and people feel compelled to give back. I am so grateful, so thankful. I feel so honored that people care so much or are enjoying the show so much. So shout out to them. They know who they are. They didn't want any special recognition, but I thank God for them. So let's try our new technology here, and let's show you guys a clip of Mr. Domenik Hixon doing his thing. Let's see him out on the field a little bit. See what he could do. You guys let me know if you can hear it.
You like going to work now, changing the play.
And that's caught for a first down. That is Domenik Hixon making the catch. And then 3rd down and 4. And Manning sliding left, throwing into double coverage, and the catch is, for the moment, made by Hixon and then wrestles it away.
All right. Let's bring us back here. Okay, y'all got visual. Okay, they said they have visuals and sound. All right, good. So y'all had the visuals and the sound. I didn't know if you guys could see that. You see the man out there doing his thing out there on the field, playing for the New York Football Giants, number 87. Tell us a little bit, what was life like catching passes from the future Hall of Famer Eli Manning? What was that like? Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh. Hold on just a second. They say they can't hear you. That's my fault. Let me get my get him back on here. All right. See, this is what happens when you run the whole show. All right, so thank you guys. Keisha, I see you, Toy. Thank you guys. See, I'm testing the audience to make sure y'all are with us. All right, Chris, I appreciate it, Sam. Thank you guys. Y'all are such a loyal audience. Y'all, I just wanted to see if I could hear him. So me and him was just having a great conversation. It was really good. So let's rewind back a little bit. As I now know what it was like to play with Eli Manning. Tell them, you said he's a bit of a prankster and stuff. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to play with Eli Manning.
Yeah, so you would leave your cell phone out like on your stool or something like that, and he'd come and put it in a foreign language, and and change your whole phone up, or he'll text whoever you was texting, or it just, like I said, it was like Akron 2.0. It was a family atmosphere, a fun atmosphere, and something that I appreciate about him is in our offense, watching from the outside in, you never really knew whose fault it was when something went bad on the receiver quarterback route. But he ain't never, show out on the sideline or, dog cuss you or anything like that.
Right.
'Cause there was a couple times, I messed up. He just pull you to the side and be like, hey, what I'm saying, do that. Okay, all right, we're good. But no one else would know. And, it was, that's appreciated.
Wow.
So shout out to Eli.
Shout out to Eli Manning and the Manning family. What an amazing family. So did Eli ever talk about his brother? His brother's playing in the league at the same time. His father played in the league, the famous Peyton Manning, Archie Manning. Did he talk about his family, or was he just focused on what you guys had going on in the team? What was that like?
I just kind of left all that alone. I said, I couldn't even imagine, you in the greatest city, the biggest, media city in the world, all these questions. So anytime we, did some extra film, say it was always joking around or something about business or what we were doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can imagine how many times he got those questions and, he's probably sick and tired of it. Yeah, but it was always a good time. Yeah, and one of the most interesting times and favorite times, me, Kenny Phillips, and Eli, we did a Reebok commercial. Wow. And that was entertaining. That was a lot of laughs. And Kenny and I were talking, we were talking. We said, yeah, they're probably not even going to air, what me and you are in. They just want Eli, type stuff. But it was a good time, man.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, he's a jokester.
What a cool experience. Most of us can't imagine what it's like. We see it on the TV. We don't know what life is like. So tell us a little bit more. What's it like traveling? What's it like playing in New York? Like you said, the biggest media mecca of the world. And they talk about there's pressure there. The fans aren't like, oh, it's cool, y'all lost. Like, it's a little tough. So what was it like playing in New York? And then what was it like traveling as an NFL player?
Yeah. So quick story. When I got fired from Denver and went to New York, my agent hits me up, was like, hey, you're going to be a Giant. They want you over there. Go to the airport. Okay, cool.
No, wait, hold on. Wait. Listen, us regular people out here, we've been fired before, okay? When they put it on the TV, when it scrolls across the bottom, it doesn't say Domenik Hixon was fired. It's like he was waved. They make it sound all nice. They waved goodbye. They were nice. You were fired. Is that right?
No, I was fired.
Okay.
So let me go a little step.
Yeah, let us know. Tell us the story.
My one of my best friends, Brian Clark, he was a receiver that was on practice squad. So we're hanging out, me and him on our day off, I get the phone call to say, hey, Coach Shanahan wants to see you. I'm like, okay, so I hang up. Then they call him. I didn't know at the time. Then they called him, was like, hey, we're going to move you up to the active roster. Well, someone has to get fired, and I'm the one that they want to see. And so he kind of looks at me, and we clown about it now. But yeah,
wow.
So they bring me in. Yeah, they bring me into the office, and they were like, "Hey, we want to give some other guys a chance. We're going in a different direction." All right. So 24 hours later, agent calls, says, "Hey, you're going to New York. You're going to be a Giant."
Wow.
Cool. I'm excited. Another opportunity. So I get to the airport. And, get the guy my ID and my name. And he was like, you're going to Newark, New Jersey. I'm like, I said, New York. He was like, yeah, Newark. I was like, no, I'm going to play for the Giants. And he was like, well, you do realize they play in New Jersey.
That's crazy. People don't realize that.
I was like, no, I didn't.
Nobody told me that.
Man, I ain't tell too many people that.
Right. You just went there like you expected it.
I don't even know where they play at.
Wow.
Man, so,
most people don't know that, by the way. So
but it was great, man. We to be out there and with the fans, people, oh, well, you got the greatest fans. Nah, we do got the greatest fans. I mean, the Giants have the greatest fans and organization from top down, from ownership all the way down. I mean, it's just a class act. Wow. I mean, it's ran really well. I took my family and some friends out there, and they got to see, the facilities where we practiced at and did all that stuff. And the one thing that, everyone said, they were like, man, it's just everything's so clean. It's so nice. The people are so friendly, and that's not every NFL team. Some NFL teams aren't like that. Yeah. But the fans and stuff, I mean, we enjoy it. I mean, like I said, they were rowdy, honest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Very honest. Which I appreciate.
Yes.
I appreciate it. And, so we try to go back, it's been a couple years now, but go back and watch a game and hang out and tailgate a little bit and, get to see some, guys you played with and stuff. So,
right.
But definitely, like I said, winning those Super Bowls, man, it was just unreal, the atmosphere.
All right. We got to get to that. Okay, all right. So since you brought it up, I didn't want to jump all in. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a new segment on the show that we're going to call a closer look. So we're going to bring Domenik in for a closer look. So you guys, Domenik, now you're a little closer to the ladies and gentlemen on watching the show now. They can see you a little closer.
Haircut.
It's all good. The quarantine haircut, everybody's got them. Except for me, because I just shaved it all off because I was like, that's all I know how to do. So what was it like the Super Bowl week? Help us understand. We don't get it. It's exciting from our couch. It's exciting from the pub, from the restaurant, from the bar, from wherever people go. What's it like being there for Super Bowl week and the actual Super Bowl?
So what the Giants did, they flew out our family like on a private, one of them big jets. And so my mom and dad, they get on a plane. They come fly to Phoenix. And so they get to tour the stadium early. I mean, they get to do all type of activities. And so we're practicing and doing all that fun stuff. And the media, again, I mean, you're talking from all around the world. You're doing interviews. I remember the news station from Germany was there.
Wow.
They were covering the Super Bowl. And so I actually got to do a lot of stuff with them, got to do interviews and, show them around and that type stuff. And even after the Super Bowl, I got to give my grandma, my Oma, I got to give her a shout out, on German television.
How cool.
Stuff like that. But the media, I mean, it's unreal, man. And then when we got to Phoenix, they gave us rental cars. Like we had a Tahoe to go drive around. And I had the Super Bowl emblem on the side.
Right.
Which, it was nicer than the car I had. So,
do I get to keep this or what?
Yeah, that's right. But so we got to do that type of stuff. And that week of practice was probably the first practice I've ever had where I did nothing wrong. Everything was so positive.
Wow.
So,
it just felt good.
I'm sure I did something wrong.
But nobody cared. It was all good.
No one cared. Man, we was at the Super Bowl. And we had In-N-Out Burger truck waiting for us after one of the practices, too.
Wow.
So, yeah, we got to, but, yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
That's so cool. Your family got to come and experience it and be there. What city so you played in and won 2 Super Bowls, correct? So Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the second Super Bowl, I had torn my ACL. It was like week 2 of the season.
Yeah.
Week 2 or 3. And so I didn't get to play in that one, but I got to hang out.
You got to go.
And so it was a different experience. And, you got to cheer on the team. It wasn't the same.
Yeah.
But, again, thankful for being there and, being a part of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it was fun, too, on just a different end. I was more of a spectator, but would definitely love to play in it, obviously.
Right. That's super cool, though. I mean, to have that experience, to say that you've been there. Some people have been there.
Oops.
We see you. You're good. You're back. So some people have been there, paid to go to the game, paid to go and be a part of it, been a part of the media, but to actually get an experience like that is amazing. Now, tell us about playing in the Super Bowl and winning. You guys beat both times, was it the Patriots?
Patriots, yeah. Yep.
Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Arguably the greatest dynasty of all time, Patriots. Tell us about that. What was it like being there with the aura of Tom Brady and Coach Belichick? And what was that like? Did you guys go into the game or go into the games like, we're going to win, no doubt, we got this? Or was there doubt? What did it feel like being a player going into such a big game?
Yeah, so we played on week 16, and we played them really well. We were winning in that ball game, and we ended up letting it slip away. And I remember just the feeling in the locker room going into the playoffs was that if we see them again, like we're going to end up, taking them. Yeah. And, of course, they were undefeated at the time. So, of course, people, they kind of laughed about it. And we ended up having to travel to Tampa, beating them, to Dallas, beat them, and then up in Lambeau's -23 or something like that, and we ended up beating them.
Wow.
And so when we saw them in the Super Bowl, everyone's swag was just like, we done seen them before. We done seen their best shot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They haven't seen our best shot yet.
Right.
So it was a lot of confidence going in. And I remember even coming off the plane, everyone had, like dark color suits on. Mm-hmm. And that was, pretty much we're going to the funeral for their undefeated season.
Wow.
It was one of those deals. It just, the confidence was, like I said, it was through the roof. And so I remember Plexico, he had predicted the score, and then they and a lot of the Giants fans, follow on Twitter and Instagram and stuff,
right.
And they always replay it when Tom Brady was like, "That's it, that's all we're gonna score,"
right?
And yeah, I mean that's all they ended.
What was the score? Do you remember the score?
Was it 21-17?
21-17. Okay, and what year was that?
And that was in 07.
07. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and so I mean, and and arguably so. I mean, they had, I think it was one of the most, either the most points scored or what. I mean, they were putting up 30, 40 points a game like it was nothing.
Right.
So for our defense to do what they did, which probably, if you ask me, we had one of the best defenses ever in the NFL.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It was fun. It was fun to watch.
Name some of the players that were on that championship defensive team.
You got Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, Jay Alford, O.C. Umenyiora, Dave Towson, Antonio Pierce. And then you got Corey Webster, who's probably one of the most underrated corners to ever play in the NFL. Wow. I mean, what he did throughout the playoff run. You had Doc, you had James Butler, you had Wilson. I mean, it was Mad Dog, Sam Madison. He was an OG. He always used to hold a lot, too, but you never could see. He was just – I mean, we had so many guys that played so well on defense and offense and special team.
Right.
And like I said, and it was it was fun time, really fun time.
Incredible. I mean, that's fun for us to be a part of that. Somebody just came and said Giants for life here on LinkedIn. I can't see who that was, but thank you guys for your participation. Everybody, David Thomas, I see you. San, I see you. Tracy Lincoln, thank you so much for being here. And Hagan, we appreciate you being here. Everybody who's making comments, Chris, everybody, we are so grateful. Toy, Aaron, everybody, continue to make your comments, ask questions. If you have questions now, go ahead and start putting your questions into the comments so we can get to some of your questions. And Domenik, I have another question. See, I get to ask the questions, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to ask some of your questions, but I just get to ask all of my questions. So talking about your life after football. Okay, I think it's so important. We got people here on all social media platforms, from LinkedIn to Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, who are business-minded people, entrepreneurial, or working in a business trying to find their way up. Tell us about, you go to the NFL, you live what we consider living the dream, although I know it wasn't that easy. Tell us a little bit about life after football. How did you make the transition, and what things did you start getting into?
So it probably took me probably 4 or 5 years to really feel like I transitioned. You go from, and probably the biggest wake up call. I remember. So if you needed to see a doctor in the NFL, I mean, you were first in line, or the doctor came to you. I mean, it just, it was, whatever you needed. I remember I had a doctor's appointment. I'm sitting in a waiting room for like 2 hours. Man, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like you are not an NFL player anymore. Right. You will wait in line type. And so it was hard for me, but at the same token, I try to prepare myself and just not let football be my identity.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, oh, you're a football player, you're a football. No, I like to say, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a fisherman, I'm a hunter, that type of stuff. But it took, like I said, it took about 5 years. And then you go from, making really good money to zero.
Right. They don't just keep sending the checks. I mean, not at that level, right?
No. And so you go from making really good money to zero. Well, now what did you do with your money? What are you going to do with your money? Did you save up enough? Did you, were you living below your means? Yeah. And anybody out there who wants to buy a Bentley and do all that good stuff, don't do it.
Don't do it.
You know what I'm saying? Don't do it, man. Don't,
not worth it.
No, and that's the thing. I'm fortunate because I had not only my parents, but I had some Monty Toomer, Plexico Burrs, Sonoris Moss, David Tyree, all receivers, but we taught business and finances a lot.
Yeah.
Rod Smith out in Denver my rookie year.
Wow.
And so, so I say all that to say I started investing in houses, in rental houses. So I bought my first one while I was in the NFL in 2008 in Columbus, Ohio, and kind of just got started with that. And then when I got done playing, I said, well, how can I create a source of revenue without having to be there? That was the thing. I said, I don't want to, necessarily spend 15, 16 hours a day working. And so I just kind of jumped in head first. I prayed about it and, started doing it. And, bought, one here, one there, found some good deals.
That's awesome.
And the market was down. So, that helped
2008, out. 2009, 2010.
That's what
houses was everywhere.
Everywhere. Right. So, I wish I would have bought more.
Right.
But, and everything happens for a reason. But, so, I started doing that, and that really got me into real estate. And so I got my real estate license, about a year ago. Because they're getting harder to find, those good deals. So I kind of want to be first dibs, and so I'm licensed
Smart.
In Florida. Yeah.
Smart. Yep. Interesting. Okay, I didn't think about that route. So, ladies and gentlemen, education, motivation, liberation, a little education here to get that inside track. He went ahead and put in the time and investment and energy into getting his real estate license so that they get the books, they get the listings ahead of most people. So that positions you to be able to buy more properties, right?
Yeah. And that's and it's one of those deals, you can create a search, and when a listing pops up there within your search, send you an email.
Right.
And so, I have a few clients that they're investors themselves, and, so it helps being able to, like I said, to be kind of the first pick, because the good deals, they go fast.
Right.
So
it's cool. So cool. So, real estate is one piece of business that you jumped into. There's another one that takes you a little bit further offshore. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, so I started Super Bowl fishing 5 years ago, and it's a charter service. So we take people on dolphin cruises. We're a water taxi, and we charter fish. And so we put people on fish. We take them, like you said, offshore to go fish. And so I have my captain's license,
Okay.
Because I thought about going and getting my, doctorate and doing all that to be a doctor. Just have something in front of your name.
Interesting.
But then after all that schooling and all that, I said I could just go for 2 weeks and get my captain's license. So we're gonna go ahead and do that.
How about we go that route, right?
Yeah, instead of doing all them years. So,
right.
But yeah, we've been doing that, and we've been fortunate this year to be able to do some tuna trips.
Okay.
So we've been able to catch, fresh yellowfin tuna, and yeah, so we go about 100 miles offshore, or however. Well, let me say 100 miles from home.
Okay.
From Pensacola.
Okay.
So we'll be off the coast of Louisiana, fishing at oil rigs. Wow. And man, I got some pictures and stuff. And you're in God's creation out on the ocean, middle of nowhere, battling fish. So definitely an experience.
They shouted you out. They said Captain Hicks, Coach Domenik, and Captain Hicks. All right.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for Chevy. I'm waiting for him to come on up from Miami, come fish with me.
Okay, all right. You waiting for him to come on up?
Chevy, you need to come on up.
He knows who that is. He sees you. So let me play another little clip, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at a little clip of, we're going to see a little bit of you out here on the water. A little clip that's on YouTube, and get a look at your business so people can get a little taste of it. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you, ladies and gentlemen. Check out Domenik here, out on the water doing what he loves.
Owner of a deep-sea fishing business named Super Bowl Fishing. As the captain of his own ship, Hixon continues to haul in the big catch, just like in his playing days.
Domenik Hixon here out of Pensacola, Florida, with the Super Bowl fishing team. We're about to head out on a charter and do what we always do, catch some fish. To me, naming the boat's one of the funnest parts, and so just thinking about it and think from a business aspect, what could a conversation starter be? Super Bowl fishing. And so I had it on my first boat, and I remember being out there, you get calls over the radio, and they're like, what's that about? You tell them, hey, I won a couple Super Bowls. And they're like, with who? I'm New York Giants. So from a business aspect, but then also being proud of, being part of 2 championship teams. Pensacola is one of the hidden gems. We have sandy white beaches. We have some of the best fishing, in my opinion. You can fish for pretty much anything. Going up. This boat moves a little bit. We head offshore, 100 miles, we're fishing for tuna. Here come September, we'll be catching sailfish off the beach. You got a little bit of everything. The community's great, small knit community. Everybody hunts and fishes, and for me to talk about it wouldn't do it justice. Go to superbowlfishing.com, give me a call, book a trip, and I'll show you how good it is. So right now we're just headed out of the pass, Pensacola Pass. We usually stop, get our bait at the Massachusetts to get our live bait, and then we kind of start from there. We always try to catch our limited fish if that's what your goal is, to catch as many fish and freeze it up to send it home. We're going to make it happen for you. You gonna find this fish in about 10 minutes?
10 minutes. It's not 8 fish, it's a shark. As seen on Shark Week. Yeah, this is real.
You don't want to put too much pressure on yourself to catch fish, but at the same time, that's what you're out there to do. You're one-on-one, with this, 400 or 500 pound fish. And so, it's you, and then you're working with the team that's on the boat, and you're reeling it in, and that's where the competitiveness, kind of fits in, is because it's you against him, who's going to give up. And I've seen people tire out on fish and lose fish. The relaxing part is when you find.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys got to see him in action there. Y'all are out there off the coast of Pensacola, Florida, heading toward Louisiana. You guys got a chance to see that. Y'all tell us what you think in the comments. All I know is when I watched that, I was like, man, they're way out there. And I love water. I love boats. I love it. I would love to go out there. But I'm like, they're way out there. Y'all out there catching sharks and these huge fish. What does that feel like? Is that a sport? Is it like playing the game? What does it feel like to be out there on the water doing what you do?
Yeah, it's like, man or woman versus wild.
Yeah.
You're out there, and like I said, just like, for instance, we pull up a few weeks ago at an oil rig, and there are sharks everywhere. It's probably, 40 sharks swimming around, and so we let some customers, we let them go ahead and catch some sharks but it's an experience like no other. And like I said, you're in the middle of nowhere, catching fish. And like I said, if you like tuna, there's nothing better than going and catching fresh tuna and having it right then and there.
No, wait. Okay, let's clear this up because I saw this in a clip, and you said something about making sushi on the boat. I was like, wait, does they mean they're cutting up a bloody fish and having fresh tuna uncooked on the boat?
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And then we bring a little grill, a little propane grill. So we'll have it on the boat if you want it seared and stuff. But like my wife, when we first, started dating and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go tuna fish. I'm gonna bring you back some tuna. And we had a really good trip, and she ate the tuna, and I said, yeah, well, you got tuna for the next year.
Right.
She's like, what do you mean? We vacuum sealed it up, and, but yeah,
right.
It's good stuff.
That's
good
crazy.
Stuff.
Amazing. I can't imagine that. It must be. People are saying it sounds delicious. Out there eating fresh tuna. Somebody say, I tell my wife we having tuna. It ain't nothing like that. All right, it's nothing like that. It's in a little packet. You tear it open and you eat it out the pack. Put it on some crackers. You out there having fresh tuna out on the water, man. That is so cool. If you guys are interested, if they're interested in taking this trip, I know Chris Bennett, Chris, him and his family, they go to Florida, they go to Disney, they do other stuff. If somebody, Chris and his family or others want to come down and experience this, how do people get a hold of you? How do they get to come have one of these trips with you?
Yeah, you can go on Facebook, Super Bowl Fishing, like our page on there. You can send me a message, on social media, and we'll set something up. I mean, I got some former teammates, Brandon Jacobs, Lawrence Tynes. They come down and fish, and we have a good time, man. It's nice and relaxing. We picked the right day to go. Right. And like I said, hopefully the fish are biting, but it's a good time. So, Lucas, you have you and your family have the personal invite to come down.
Hey.
Get on and the thing is, we can go dolphin cruising. I mean, there's so much stuff you can do. I mean, it's like I said, fishing's an aspect of it that we definitely do. But like I said, we got Crab Island in Destin. We're going to do a few trips down. If you don't know about Crab Island, Google it, check it out. I mean, it's a little island it's a sandbar.
Okay.
That's down by Destin. It's a good time.
It's really a good time.
So yep.
Well, thank you so much for the personal invite. We got to do it. I mean, we have to come down there. When I looked at what you were doing, while part of me was like, this is crazy, way out there on the water, grabbing these fish and doing all, I thought, man, what a beautiful place to be, enjoying yourself. The dolphins, things like that are just experiences for me, my family, my wife, my children that we'd love to have. So thank you so much for the invite. We'll be there. Maybe we'll bring the webcam or something, shoot a little something, have a little Lucas live on the water or something, ladies and gentlemen. You guys make sure you don't miss that episode. So that is really, really cool. Another thing, and ladies and gentlemen, we try to keep this show around an hour. We're getting close to our time, but there's just a few more things I want to touch on. One is back to your playing career. There's something, a situation that you shared with me that I think people need to hear about. They need to know. We've talked about, your childhood. We talked about your mom passing, a sadder moment. We talked about the excitement of a Super Bowl playing with Eli Manning and all these great players. We talked about life after and business ventures and other things that you're doing. There was another moment of adversity, and we like to highlight moments of adversity because it shows people that they can overcome too. Because everybody assumes, well, if my life isn't set up like Domenik's life, I'm not going to be successful. You had a moment in the NFL where you almost walked away from the game due to an injury, but it wasn't what people might think. Tell us that story.
So when I was in Denver, my first year I didn't play because I had a broke foot and I felt like some politics and stuff. So my second year I had the opportunity to start being the kickoff returner and punt returner. Obviously excited. We go to Buffalo to play the Bills up there. Weather was absolutely terrible. We're going in at halftime, like any other halftime, kind of get the updates. Come out for the second half. We're getting the ball. We line up to receive the ball. I'm in the back, and that's back when you were allowed to do the wedge. You're allowed to have four big guys, hitting people. And So we head out, and they kick off. I get the ball, start running. One of the guys ends up missing a block, and a young man by the name of Kevin Everett, he hits me. And it's, the hardest I've ever been hit throughout my career. And I thought I broke my collarbone. And so I'm kind of on the ground trying to figure things out. And I'm slowly getting up, but he's not moving. And I just remember thinking, I'm like, man, what happened? And so I go over to the sideline. I take a knee, and I'm looking at him, motionless. And then I see the ambulance come out. I see the trainers, tending to him, and and I'm hopeful that it's precautions, and I just start praying.
Yeah.
I'm just that just God to watch over him, and hopefully that everything's okay with him.
Yeah.
And so kind of through the grapevine, as they took him off the field, I hear people talking. They're like, he's paralyzed. He's fighting for his life.
Wow.
And I just remember it felt just surreal. It felt like I was, in a movie. And then I remember, they called, the punt return to come up, and, so I'm having to go back out there. And, my mind, I mean, at that point in time, I wasn't there anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so we end up, after the game, he had went to University of Miami, and we had some guys from Miami that personally knew him. And so, they were just talking about what a great guy he was, about his family. And, and it really broke my heart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad my parents were there. It was a really long flight back for me. Didn't get any sleep. And, for the next 3 weeks, it was just no sleep and nightmares is all what I had every day. And,
wow.
And it was one of those deals. And that was probably for me in my life during that time. I mean, I prayed so much, thought about him and his family so much, just that he could recover and just be okay.
Yeah.
And so it ended up being, and I say 3 weeks later because that's when I ended up getting fired. And the thing, and what I found out, about the NFL in general is they don't care. That coaching staff that was in Denver, I mean, they didn't ask me if I was okay or if I needed to, what I'm saying? They needed you to go out there and perform.
Right.
It was a business.
Right.
And, which is fine. But like I said, I was devastated. And I remember when they fired me that night, so you got to wait 24 hours to be on the waiver wire.
Right.
And I remember that night having a talk with my parents. And I said, you know what, Mom and Dad, I enjoy the sport. I love the sport. But I hurt somebody. And I think after this year, if no one picks me up, I'm done. Mm-hmm. And I just remember a long pause from my dad. And he asked me, he said, you know what you're doing. We support you. But at the same time, you're giving up on God. You're giving up on his plan for you.
Wow.
And that's not what I wanted to hear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not what I wanted to hear. And, but that's what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
And so I was giving up on God, but God, he wasn't giving up on me. He still had a plan.
So good.
And so throughout that season, when I went to New York, I got to meet, and that's what I'm saying. The guys, they knew what the situation happened. They were asking me, hey, you okay? Are you straight? And even the coaches were doing that. And so it was a whole different feel and vibe, from one team to another.
Yeah.
We went, I remember looking at the calendar of games, and week 15, we actually went back to Buffalo to play.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know how this is, I don't know how this is going to go.
Right.
But I remember Coach Coughlin, he called a guy who's a special teams guy. I'm not the big money guy. I'm not your quarterback. I'm not Michael Strahan. I'm a special teams guy.
Right.
He called me in his office, and he was like, listen, I just wanted to let you know that, like, we support you. They said that, hey, Kevin may come out for the coin toss, and, we want you to, go out there and meet him, and, but we got your back. If you need anything, let us know. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, he ain't have to do that.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying, a class act organization where, yes, football is happening, but at the same time, we want to make sure that you're good off the field as well.
Powerful.
You know, and so I got to see Dr. Johnson. She was our sports psychologist and stuff, and I got opportunity to talk to her, and I got an opportunity to meet Kevin after the game. And I remember just the weight of the world was lifted off of my shoulders when he was like, hey, it's not your fault. And this is a young man who his dream was to play football. His dream was to be a family man. And, that football portion got taken away from him. And he's battling now just to do the everyday things in life.
Wow.
To be able to get dressed by himself and to do all that, and here he's telling me that, and I get chills talking about it, but here he's telling me like, hey, it's not your fault. Mm-hmm. And, and so I continue to pray for him and, and just to have his family in the prayers because I know he's still battling every day.
Yeah.
And I remember after that, I was so ignited. It was, I started to feel like myself again. And that's when we got to play the Patriots that following week when they were undefeated. And I was so excited. I got the opportunity to return kicks and, I was blessed enough to score my first touchdown against them.
Wow.
But without that conversation of Kevin and I honestly don't, like I said, and it was just what people strategically put, they got put in my life, but it was one of those deals where I don't know if I would have continued my football career. I don't know what would have happened, without my parents being there, without my, my friend, best friend, Brian Clark, he was there, without Coach Coughlin talking to me, Dr. Johnson, it was just strategically placed. And, like I said, I was done with football,
wow.
So.
That's big. That's a powerful, powerful story, and we're so grateful that you shared it with us. I thank you for sharing it so openly with our audience today. I can't imagine, right? Like, you almost quit the game that you love because you hurt someone else, and you needed to know that person was okay in order for you to move forward. That's real life. Like, these are real life lessons. Some of us aren't moving forward because we've hurt someone else, and we know we did. Now, right. Unlike you, we don't always admit that, right? Sometimes, unlike you, we don't say, I know I was a party to the pain. We just try to keep it moving. We make excuses or whatever it may be. But sometimes we're held back because we need them to release us to know that they're okay. And sometimes for us, we got to go apologize. We got to go make things right. In your case, you didn't do anything wrong, but he liberated you, right? He set you
Amen.
Free, right?
Yep. Absolutely. And like I said, it's just looking back on it and, it's just like, wow, because he didn't have to do that. Yeah. He could have held a grudge. He could, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yes. It could have went such a different way. Yeah. And I'm sure that would have, projected my life in a different way, in a different light, and like I said, it was God, a God's grace, man. It really was. And like I said, I'm appreciative for him. And, like I said, I continue to pray for him and his family.
That's big. That's big. We here at Lucas Live are a loyal family, a community. We want to thank you for being a part of the show today. Thank you for sharing so openly. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for the moments where I know you brought the audience close to tears. Like, wow, some of the things you've gone through. People are saying very inspiring, amazing story. Thanks for sharing this real time with us. People enjoyed being a part of that experience. So thank you so much for doing that for us.
I appreciate it. Now, look, and I appreciate you having me on, man. Look, where's Lorenzo at? I say we got.
Hey, let's meet the family. Hello.
We look so bad right now.
Wait, let me bring this. Let me change the view so we can.
My little man.
Hey,
say hi.
Hey, buddy. Cool. Get to meet
man. But Luke, I appreciate it, man. And like I said, you're doing a great thing.
Thank you.
And like I said, I'm definitely supporting you, man. Anything you need, let me know.
Domenik, I can't thank you enough. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I look forward to replaying this show. I know a lot of people are going to watch it. To people who are watching by replay, thank you guys. For those of you who watched it live, share it. Now go do a watch party and watch it and share it with your family and friends so you guys can get together and watch it on social media. Follow us on YouTube. We're going to continue to bring great content. And Domenik, I'd love to have you back sometime. I'd love to sit down with you and your wife, maybe the family, and hear a little more of that side of your life, if you wouldn't mind sharing that with us.
Man, let's do it. And like I said, fishing trip.
Yes. Fishing trip. We got to make that fishing trip happen. Thank you so much. Yes, I think it froze a little bit there, but you said we're going to come down for that fishing trip.
Yeah, for that fishing trip, dolphin cruise. Like I said, we'll have some fresh snapper or something. We'll go ahead and make it happen.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you guys for joining us here on Lucas Live. We try to bring you great content every day, bringing you great information, great education, motivation, liberation. Don't miss us tomorrow night for a special live concert with Rob Thompson, Mr. Sexy Rob. We're going to make it happen this week. There's going to be special giveaways. You're going to have a chance to enter to win tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Let's have some fun together. Domenik, again, thank you so much, my friend. Lucas Live audience, thank you guys so much for being here with us again. Everybody,